Welcome to this episode of the Harpreet Singh Show. I'm your host Harpreet Singh from Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. In today's program, I'm going to take you over to Derby in England, where my guest is Navjot Kaur Virk. She is a senior academic at the University of Derby, a multi-award-winning educationist, head of midwifery and children's nursing education in College of Health, Psychology and Social Care. We'll be talking to her on different aspects of her success story as well as on the mental health crisis that we are facing all over the world, and especially when it comes to the youngsters. So let's get over to Derby and continue with our discussion with Navjot Kaur Virk ji. Navjot ji, Jianu, Sat Shri Akal.
Sat Shri Akal.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for the privilege. I'm honored to be here with you today.
Thank you. So Navjot ji, we would like to start off from your journey from India to England. From Christian Medical College, you passed out and then you stayed there back in India. When did you come to England, and your special interest in education, how did it all develop?
Thank you very much. Yes, it has been a journey, and I think every journey is full of different things as we go along. And my journey started with my professional journey as soon as I passed out from my college in India, right from Hoshiarpur, where our former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, and Dr. Manmohan Singh also graduated from there. And I did my +2 from there and then joined Christian Medical College to do my BSc nursing. And during that time, I was honored to be the award winner from Punjab University for throughout Punjab, Jammu Kashmir, Haryana states into nursing, and throughout all the PSRB. So in terms of all the Punjab nursing registration boards. So that was quite honor, and which led me to win prizes from World Health Organization when I graduated, because that was the biggest achievement from the Northern India at that point.
Wonderful.
And later on, I applied for a job, and there was a massive overseas nurses recruitment going on from United Kingdom, and they were recruiting nurses from all over, from India, Philippines, Africa, etc. And I wasn't interested to move to England at all. I think all my colleagues were going for an interview, and I thought, okay, yeah, that's fine. Everybody's going. I'll go and give it a try as well. And in the meantime, the marriage was arranged, and the marriage alliance was arranged for marriage in Derby. And while marriage was arranged, a day before that, my visa arrived to work into UK hospital. And it was into Manchester, however, because my in-laws were settled in Derby. So I stayed in Derby and got a different job there.
Right. So how many years it has been in England you have been staying here?
21 years now.
Wonderful.
Yes,
so 2 decades of staying over here, but when you came over here, did you face some challenges to be a part of that group, or it was an easy ride for you?
I think it depends. I think it is the journey to any new different country is always a challenge, because it's not only the different culture, the different family setup, the different kind of moral values, different work environment, or different educational criteria you face, but also in addition to that, there is always homesickness, etc. So for my nursing journey, I was pretty privileged because I was the first overseas nurse at Derby Children's Hospital. And bless them, they didn't know what to do with me, what kind of academic journey I should have had, or a professional journey I should be part of it. So I designed my own induction program because I came after my degree and master's from India, so I was well versed with all those things. And luckily, by God's grace, I had a good educational profile, so I was very absorbed into the UK nursing system. So I worked on to Children's Hospital for 2 years because the setup of UK hospitals and education in India is very different. In India, you're working more into lecturer practitioner role, so you are teaching as well as you are being part of a hospital. However, in UK, they both were very separated. So I didn't want to move to education before knowing UK hospitals, because in my mindset, I was thinking, if you don't know what you are going to teach students to be prepared for, that means that you are not joined to the roots. So I wanted to join the clinical area first. And after joining clinical area for 3 years, in between time, I had my first child. And then very quickly, I moved to a different role, which is called health promotion role into UK. It's very different. It's a part of a role which is equivalent to the general practitioners like doctors, where you are trying to promote the health of all children until the age of 5. So that's from where my interest session into infant mental health, safeguarding, etc. But education has always been my backbone. I love education. I think I can be a student throughout my life.
Right.
And that's why I think very quickly I did a different master's program into UK, and then moved to education. Initially, I was doing part and part, still clinically for 2 days and 3 days into education. But from last 8 years, I moved into education fully.
Okay. You talked about health promotion and safeguarding. Could you elaborate a little bit about on this as to what does it generally mean and what kind of work is involved in this?
Yes, I think very good to talk about health promotion. I think what else can be a better time to talk about health promotion rather than the time when whole world is hit by pandemic.
Right.
Health promotion role is very different from health protection and health prevention. So in this, we are not talking about treating sick people, but rather we are trying to talk to people about how to maintain health, how to keep healthy, to avoid sickness. So it's a very complete shift from a tertiary care where we are treating people into hospitals with a different sickness, etc. However, we are trying to prevent ill health, but also promote good health. So that's the whole point of these kind of roles. So my role mainly involved with the children, working with antenatal women when woman is pregnant, so that how they can have a safe pregnancy and have a healthy infant born, and then working with children up to the age of 5. And then later on with the school health, that's a different bifurcation of the role, which talks about the health of the children into schools. So it's all about promoting health for different age groups so that you can prevent disease.
Absolutely. And even in Canada also, we are finding that this is a new trend where people are being involved and awareness is being created by the universities. Different programs are coming out so that people become in charge of their own health by instead of later on developing the disease, why not to prevent that? Wonderful. Navjotji, it's time for a short break. Let's go for a break. We'll be back. And from here onwards, we'll continue further with our discussion because you also specialize in infant mental health. Mental health is a major crisis right now, what we are finding, especially with COVID-19. What we have seen is that amongst the youngsters, the suicide level has increased a lot. So we'll focus on this aspect and learn from your wisdom. So we'll be shortly back.
ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਰੀ, ਡੈਲਟਾ, ਰਿਚਮੰਡ, ਐਬਸਫੋਰਡ ਜਾਂ ਵੈਂਕੂਵਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਵਾਂ ਘਰ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਰੈਨੋਵੇਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ? ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਤਜਰਬੇਕਾਰ ਬਿਲਡਰ, ਇੱਕ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟਿਵ ਇੰਟੀਰੀਅਰ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨਰ ਦੀ ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਹੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਗਾਈਡ ਕਰ ਸਕਣ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸੁਪਨੇ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਉਸਾਰ ਸਕਣ। ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਜਾਂ ਸੰਦੀਪ 6048259295 ਉੱਤੇ।
ਪਾਪਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਕਿਉਂ ਉਦਾਸ ਹੋ?
बेटा, तेरे चाचा दी कोरोना वायरस करके डेथ हो गई है क्योंकि उसने मेरे कहने के बावजूद भी टीका नहीं लगवाया।
ਚਾਚਾ ਜੀ ਤਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਲਿਖੇ, ਸਿਹਤਮੰਦ ਅਤੇ ਰੋਜ਼ ਐਕਸਰਸਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਨ, ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਟੀਕਾ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਗਵਾਇਆ?
ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਡਰ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਟੀਕੇ ਦੇ ਮਾੜੇ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਨ ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਅਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਹਾਲਾਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਮਝਾਇਆ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਸਭ ਅਫਵਾਹਾਂ ਹਨ ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਟੀਕੇ ਵਿਗਿਆਨਿਕਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਡਾਕਟਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਅਤੇ ਖੋਜ ਦਾ ਨਤੀਜਾ ਹਨ।
ਪਾਪਾ, ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੇ ਮੈਂਬਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਟੀਕਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਲਗਵਾ ਲੈਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਲਥ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਅਪੀਲ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਵੈਕਸੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਵਾਓ ਅਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਟੀਕਾ ਲਗਵਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੇਰਣਾ ਕਰੋ। ਆਓ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਲਥ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਇਸ ਮੁਹਿੰਮ ਦਾ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਬਣੀਏ।
ਲੈਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਨਵੇਂ ਤੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਅਪਲਾਈਐਂਸਸ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਸਟੋਵ, ਓਵਨ, ਫ੍ਰਿਜ, ਵਾਸ਼ਰ ਡਰਾਇਰ, ਮਾਈਕ੍ਰੋਵੇਵ, ਫ੍ਰੀਜ਼ਰਸ ਜਾਂ ਡਿਸ਼ਵਾਸ਼ਰ, ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਪਹੁੰਚੋ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਮ ਅਪਲਾਈਐਂਸਸ ਤੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ 3 ਬ੍ਰਾਂਚਸ ਸਰੀ, ਐਬਟਸਫੋਰਡ ਤੇ ਚਿਲਵੈਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਨ। ਇੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵਾਜਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਅਪਲਾਈਐਂਸਸ ਮਿਲਣਗੇ। ਇਹ ਡਿਲੀਵਰੀ ਤੇ ਇੰਸਟਾਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਪੈਕੇजेस ਫॉर ਬਿਲਡਰਸ ਐਂਡ ਹੋਮ ਓਨਰਸ। ਕਾਲ 6045904140 604 590 4140। Once again, welcome back to the program. This program is being brought to you with the support of AMC Insurance. If you're looking for home, auto, travel, business, life or recreational insurance, they have 9 branches in the Lower Mainland to serve you. And they're open 7 days a week from 8:30 a.m. onwards till 9 p.m. For more information, call 604-507-6666. Our next sponsor is Best Home Kitchen Cabinets. ਘਰ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਾਨ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਚਨ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਸੋਨਾ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਸਟ ਹੋਮ ਕਿਚਨ ਕੈਬਨਿਟਸ ਲੋਅਰ ਮੇਨਲੈਂਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਜਾਣੀ ਪਛਾਣੀ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਹਨ। ਕਸਟਮ ਹਾਈ ਐਂਡ ਘਰਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਮਲਟੀ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਹਰ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਕੈਬਨਿਟ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਬੈਸਟ ਹੋਮ ਕਿਚਨ ਕੈਬਨਿਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖੋ। ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਸੁਰਜੀਤ ਤੇਸੀ 604 591 8171 604 591 8171। Our guest today is Navjot Kaur Virk, a senior academician from University of Derby. And as she talked about her journey from India to England and how she established over here, she specializes in a lot of things which include health promotion, safeguarding, infant mental health, speech and language development. So let's learn a little bit about the mental health crisis that we are facing, and especially when it comes to the children. So Navjotji, if you could elaborate on this particular aspect, that what are you observing in the past few years? Why is it that the mental health crisis amongst the children is on the rise?
Thank you very much. It's a very, very pertinent question. I think this is a next pandemic which is hitting our generations. We are seeing youth, those who have got a very, very limited resilience, they have not got a positive mental health. However, part of it is in the last couple of years, pandemic has played a massive role into it. And if I can elaborate into the different age groups, and I will only touch it briefly, and if you would like me to do more, I will touch into that. In the last 2 years, I think the massive crisis which we are seeing is the isolation. And isolation is the biggest factor to contribute towards ill mental health. But its impact onto the different age group has been huge and varied. What we are noticing is into the children, when newborns and until the age of 1, they are trying to set up themselves into the society. And at present, during last 2 years, most of the parents, they have been at their home with their children, with their newborn babies. They have not had that social network which could be around them. If we look around us, how many newborn have been born into the family and we have not been able to visit them, or there has been a very limited contact. But the impact of it has been where the newborns were learning about the emotions of the rest of the family by observing their faces, etc. They are facing immense stranger danger. They are quite a lot more clingy with their parents. They are not able to see that much facial expressions because of the use of masks, etc. So there is a huge difference into their development. Some parents have not been able to take their child out that much into the parks, etc. So again, that has impacted onto the mother and family as well as the child's mental health. But the biggest age groups which have been affected, they have been our school age population, whether it is from 4 to 12 or our teenagers from 12 to 18. Where the children, those who are into school, the children love routine. That's what is supportive of their emotional health, their physical health and mental health. And what we are looking into the primary school age groups is they are forgetting those skills. Let's take an example of a cycling skills when children start going to the school at the age of 5, etc. The playground accidents, etc. They are on increase. The general fallout among children, which helps them to build their resilience, that today I'm not that person's friend, but tomorrow I am. They have not had that chance to have those positive kind of a journey towards embedding themselves into their society outside their home. And that is having a massive impact onto them. 12 to 18 age group, they have been very much affected by their education system, because if we look towards the later end of their career, education career, they are focusing more towards their early career, which pathway they need to take. However, they have been very isolated. They have not been able to be ready for their adult life. So that has massively impacted. Internationally, there are a number of reports which are saying up to 40% of the children, the teenagers, their mental health is being affected at present. And they are showing it in a different type of behavior, such as risk-taking behavior or into going into depression.
Right. Well, of course, the COVID-19 has had its impact. But what we have been seeing and hearing is that, amongst the children, autism or physical or mental defects are on the rise. Why is that? Any particular reason for that? Of course, COVID, you have talked about it. But before that, is there any particular reason for this, or it's just, happening?
There are different things. I think there is a physical disability, etc. When it is happening into the children, that has got a various reasons. It could be genetic reasons. It could be the impact of drug. It could be impact of our modern world, impact of radiation, etc. happening onto the when children are born with kind of a physical ill health. But with the things, etc., autism, etc., they are completely different. And so I think it's important to say that the ill health among children is rising. There are reports, etc., Health for All, which is talking about the different age groups internationally, that how each country's health is developing. And they are showing an international decline into the positive health.
So,
I think I would like to touch on one aspect. I think that an area into health which we are exploring very new at present, it's health genomics.
Okay.
So there is a lot of interest into this into last 10 years into research where they're talking about why it could be two people with a similar kind of a health makeup, but one person is more prone to the ill health than the another one. They might have got a similar lifestyle, so the genetics play a lot more role. And into UK health system, there is a massive push towards it that over the next 10 years in future, we are trying to predict into that if we could do a genetic makeup study of a person, can we predict that which person will be more prone to diabetes or hypertension or cardiac diseases, so that from that earlier on, we can promote health by preventing some kind of issues into them.
So you're not only an expert on child health, but also maternal health. So what would be your recommendations, especially for mothers? Because we are also finding out that drug intake is increasing. You talked about radiation, you're talking about the lifestyle. Everything is changing. So what recommendations from your research and from your expertise would you like to share with the expecting mothers?
There are massive studies which are talking about that the first 1,001 days are very critical of a child's health. And they are the one which shape the person's future health. And those 1,001 days start right from the conception when the baby is conceived even. So it's really important for mothers to be physically healthy, but also mentally healthy. But it's not only a responsibility of a mother, but it's also a responsibility of a society. So we are talking a lot about the toxic trio into maternal ill health. So when a woman has been exposed to an ill mental health, any drug exposure or domestic violence, etc. So where there is a lot more pressure onto the woman, the health of the unborn baby is impacted right from the beginning. So the more the risk factor, the more ill health the child is due to be born with. So I think where the woman need to take precautions right from the beginning to promote her health before deciding to conceive a baby. As a society, we do need to be more conscious that, where we are promoting and protecting women from any kind of exposure into the terms of a domestic violence, coercion, control, physical violence, or emotional control. But at the same time, there is a safer education about drugs, the impact of radiation, the impact of ill environment onto the health of women.
Now, Joji, you have been also working on improving the primary and secondary education, and you have also helped establish a Punjabi school also there. It's time for a break. We'll go for a break, and once we come back, we'll focus on the educational aspect as to in England, a new concept has been introduced and you have played a pivotal role in that. So we'll talk all about this after this short break.
है जुल्म ढाने का अंदाज भी कितना हंसी हमारी जान पर बनाई है जब जब उसने अंगड़ाई ली कभी खामोश रहते हैं कभी शोर होता है मोहब्बत में शरारत का मजा कुछ और होता है दिल को जज्बात का तोहफा खामोशियों को बात का तोहफा खूबसूरती में जड़ी नजाकत अदाओं की चांद से मुखड़े को चांद सा तोहफा
भारत ज्वेलर्स सच्चे प्यार की चमक जैसा पायल बिजनेस सेंटर सरी
ਕੁਦਰਤ ਦੇ ਸੌਮਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਵਰਤੋਂ ਆਯੁਰਵੇਦਾ ਰਾਹੀਂ 5000 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਬਣਾਏ ਗਏ ਹੈਲਥ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਅਪਰੂਵਡ 100% ਸ਼ੁੱਧ ਆਯੁਰਵੈਦਿਕ ਡਾਇਟਰੀ ਸਪਲੀਮੈਂਟਸ ਦਾ ਲਾਭ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਸਟ੍ਰੈਸ ਐਂਗਜ਼ਾਇਟੀ ਇਨਸੋਮਨੀਆ ਬਲੱਡ ਸ਼ੂਗਰ ਕਿਡਨੀ ਬਲੈਡਰ ਹਾਜ਼ਮਾ ਆਈਸਾਈਟ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਬਿਮਾਰੀ ਦਾ ਆਰਗੈਨਿਕ ਇਲਾਜ ਜੋੜਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਦਰਦਾਂ ਤੇ ਸਰੀਰਕ ਮਸਾਜ ਲਈ ਕਈ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੇ ਆਯੁਰਵੈਦਿਕ ਤੇਲ ਵੀ ਉਪਲਬਧ ਹਨ ਹੋਲਸੇਲ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ 604 628 2003।
ਘਰ ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਥਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਹਰ ਕੋਈ ਆਪਣੀ ਨਿੱਜੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਸੁਨਹਿਰੀ ਪਲ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਹੈ। ਉਹ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰਿਆ ਜੀਵਨ ਬਤੀਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਦ ਕਿਸੇ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਨੂੰ ਸਜੇ ਹੋਏ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਬਦਲਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ। ਨਵੇਂ ਘਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਰੇਮਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਫਿਨਿਸ਼ਿੰਗ ਤੱਕ, ਡ੍ਰੇਪਰੀ, ਪੇਂਟਿੰਗਸ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਡੈਕੋਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਐਕਸੈਸਰੀਜ਼ ਤੱਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ SK ਹੋਮ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੁਪਨਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਹਕੀਕਤ 'ਚ ਬਦਲ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਕੰਟੈਕਟ ਕਰੋ ਸੰਦੀਪ ਕੌਰ 6048259295।
Once again, welcome back to the program. ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਇਆ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਅਗਨੀਹੋਤਰੀ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੰਸਲਟਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਸਹਿਯੋਗ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਟੈਂਪਰੇਰੀ ਸਟੇਟਸ PR, ਨਵੇਂ ਹੋ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵਿੱਚ, ਅੰਤਰਰਾਸ਼ਟਰੀ ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀ ਹੋ, ਸਿਟੀਜ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਣੀ ਹੈ, ਹਾਇਰ ਕਰਨੇ ਫੋਰਨ ਵਰਕਰਸ, ਐਕਸਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਐਂਟਰੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਸਪਾਂਸਰ ਕਰਨੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਜਾਂ ਗ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ ਨੀਰਾ ਅਗਨੀਹੋਤਰੀ। 2006 ਤੋਂ ਸਰਟੀਫਾਈਡ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੰਸਲਟੈਂਟ ਵਜੋਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਓਨੈਸਟ ਤੇ ਰਿਲਾਇਬਲ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਣ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਵਾਅਦਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 6045972284 604 597 2284। Our next sponsor is Day-to-Day Wholesale Cash and Carry. This is British Columbia's largest South Asian grocery store, where you can buy groceries, party-wear, kitchenware, homeware at wholesale prices. More than 5,000 products are displayed on the shelves. For best prices, unique grocery buying experience, and best quality products, come to 7843 128th Street, Surrey, 7843 128 Street, Surrey, 604 503 8787, 604 503 8787. Our guest today is Navjot Kaur Virk, an academician from University of Derby, and before the break she talked about the mental health crisis and what are the reasons, what solutions she feels need to be implemented. Let's talk a little bit more about education aspect now. So Navjot ji, before the break the question I asked you was about the primary and secondary education. So you have been playing a pivotal role in this also, and you have been promoting Punjabi in schools also. So the schools which have been established over there, what is the new trend that has started over there?
Yeah, thank you very much. In UK, there are basically three kinds of school. One are the state-funded schools, so which are funded by the government. They are hosted by the local authority, but all schools, they are run by governors, which can be part of the schools, but also can be voluntary professionals from different groups of their life. The second type of schools are the private schools, which are independent schools. They are set up by either by businessmen or by educationists, but they are fee-paying selective schools where they will get an entrance exam, and they will their pupils. They look for high academic performance and for a different kind of a journey for their pupils. The third kind of trend into the UK, into the schools, is from a last 100 years, is faith schools. And in UK, there are approximately 20,000 Christian faith-based schools. And what they take priority is into promoting a faith-based, value-based education. But in the last 20 years, there has been various Sikh faith schools has been set up. So the UK government into 2010 passed an Academies bill where they said that any group of parents, any faith group, any educationist, they can get together, write a proposal and bid to set up a school. And nationally, all the Sikh organizations, they started thinking about it. And as being a Sikh, I think we all felt that, yeah, we need to start a Sikh faith school as well, because Guru Nanak's concept was Kar kar andar hove dharamshal. So why not set up a school where we can provide a value-based education, which is working towards a high educational achievement, but still instilling the moral values into children. So we got set up together as a group onto this journey, and we took 3 years to write our proposal with the government, and then in the end won a £5 million project to set up a primary school which starts from a year 1, from reception up to the year 6. So we have got our last batch passed out last week, the first children ready for secondary schools, and the Guru Sahib's Kirpa played a role into setting up that school as a governor. But those skill sets, I was able to gain it from being a governor onto the state schools and also into an independent school as a private school, which are all through schools, right from primary up to secondary school. What I firmly believe is we all have got our personal and professional skills to share. And the concept into Sikhi is to give you the swand, and that the swand is not only of money, but is also of time, also of our skills. And wherever we have got those skills, we need to share them. So that's the reason I've been involved into all these voluntary activities. And in addition to that, we run Sunday voluntary Punjabi school for 200 children into Shri Guru Singh Sabha Gurdwara Derby. And the children from all ages, from 5 as well as up to adults, they come and learn about Punjabi on Sunday for 2 hours class. And it's important because we had into UK, if we see from Asian population, it's around 3rd or 4th generation. And definitely there has been 2 generations into the middle, those who have lost Punjabi as a skill.
Right.
But now when they are finding that their children are unable to communicate with their grandparents, they are finding the importance. And in some families, the children and parents, they are learning together.
Oh, that's commendable. Really nice. Here also we see the same trend of more and more faith-based schools opening up and Khalsa schools coming into existence. But there's one issue which I would like to discuss, because you're a practicing Sikh, wherever we are, anywhere in the world, the major concern is that our children further are not having unshorn hair. And in the schools, till the time they are in the faith-based schools like the Khalsa schools, till that time they are fine. They wear the pagdi also, the star also, but once they are out, they just shave off their hair. Now the question is, how are you as a practicing Sikh trying to inculcate this kind of thinking that this is this is a part of our identity, this is what we are? And is some work being done on this aspect also? And are the people, are you concerned about this?
I think this concern will always be there for any Sikh, wherever we are. I think we all want where we want our heritage to carry on. I think this will always be concern. However, I think we can only bring children into Sikhi by pyar, by love, by giving them confidence, by giving them pride into their identity. And the more and more we can instill those values into the children, that's fine. I think the biggest factor which I feel is we sometime in conversation, I'm talking of us as a society, we do about why I'm different, why I have treated differently. However, I think we do need to talk about acceptance, self-uniqueness. So rest all of us can only create efforts.
Right.
There is both ways, isn't it? We, the children, those who are being born and brought away from. So children born into different families, into a Punjabi family, but not have been followed Sikhi, but then they come onto the teenage and they adopt Sikhi. So I think it's a matter about one, by Guru Sahib, whenever it's going to happen onto a person, but second, the environment.
Right.
I think if the children are going to be involved into Sikhi only on a Sunday, only on a school, only onto the times, then they are not going to learn about Sikhi. It's important for children to know about Sikh history, children to take a pride into this. And I think third thing, what I feel is, and I really want to say into Guru Sahib's prayer, I think we as a parents also sometimes ਸਾਡੀ ਕਹਿਣੀ ਤੇ ਕਰਨੀ ਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਫਰਕ ਹੁੰਦਾ।
Absolutely.
ਅਸੀਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਤੂੰ ਸਿੱਖ ਬਣ ਜਾ, ਪਰ ਨਾਲੇ ਵੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਧੋਖਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ, ਪਰ ਆਪ ਹੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਰਕ ਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਗਲਤ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਜੀ। ਸੋ ਸਾਡੀ ਕਹਿਣੀ ਤੇ ਕਰਨੀ ਚ ਫਰਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਕਹੇ ਰਸਤੇ ਤੇ ਪਾਰਸ ਬਣਨ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਲੋਹਾ ਆ ਕੇ ਟੱਚ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਸੋਨਾ ਹੀ ਬਣੂਗਾ। ਪਰ ਜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿਣ ਤੇ ਕਰਨ ਚ ਫਰਕ ਹੈ, then I think we will not have that influence.
Very true. We have to be the role models for the children, and of course the children on their own cannot be diverted from the path unless the parents also become role models for them. Absolutely right. One last question with you is, you have also written national apprenticeship standards for specialist public health nurses in UK. What is this and how is it helping this field?
Right. So apprenticeship, as you know, I don't know whether into Canada this kind of trend is being followed. Apprenticeship in Italy is seen as when people are into their job, enabling them to go into the further education into that field. So anybody can go and join as a trainee teacher, as an apprentice, and then they learn about the teacher training by joining university later on. So my role about health promotion, which was a very much a degree and a master's level role into health promotion, that is a straight away master's level program. However, there is a new trend that, yeah, at a master's level, we can start taking apprentices.
Right.
So as soon as this trend came, I started joining onto the national panel for the specialist community public health nurses to join as an apprentice. Because any postgraduate education, once people are being funded by their employer, that funding pot cannot go for too long. And there was a different initiatives from government where they wanted to get skilled workforce, but provide them with a further higher education. And to write an apprenticeship into health, that is a new trend, because this is not UK or international health education system has followed. So we are trying to create, the people come and learn into a job, and once they have learned their job, 20% of their time they go to university and learn more about it.
Navjot Kaur Virk ji, it was a pleasure talking to you. In conclusion, if you would like to add anything.
I think, first of all, thank you very much. Thank you very much to our viewers and our audience. I think there are various topics there where we can have a discussion about. However, it was my pleasure to talk to everybody. Thank you so much.
Have a great evening. Thank you. So, ਇਹ ਸਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਨਵਜੋਤ ਕੌਰ ਵਿਰਕ, ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਡਰਬੀ ਦੇ ਸੀਨੀਅਰ ਅਕੈਡਮਿਸ਼ੀਅਨ, ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਪਹਿਲੂਆਂ ਤੇ ਜੋ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਅਗੇਨ ਜੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਹੀਆਂ, ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਭ ਦੀ ਇਨਵੋਲਵਮੈਂਟ, ਤੇ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਮੈਟਰਨਲ ਹੈਲਥ ਦੀ, ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਮੈਂਟਲ ਹੈਲਥ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਦੀ, ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਹੈਗਾ, ਐਂਡ ਦੇ ਨੀਡ ਟੂ ਕਮ ਫਾਰਵਰਡ ਐਂਡ ਬਿਕਮ ਰੋਲ ਮਾਡਲਸ ਫॉर द children. If you also want to be a part of this program, you can contact me at 604-603-7555, or you can email me at harpreetsinghshow@gmail.com. Every evening from Monday to Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have different guests and we talk on different issues, so you can contact me anytime. Thank you very much to all the viewers also for sparing their valuable time and being a part of this program. See you soon. Have a great evening. Stay healthy and enjoy yourself.
ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਮੈਨ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕੀ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ? ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਮੋਟਰਸ ਦੇ ਓਨਰ ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਨੂੰ ਵੇਖ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਸਮਝ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇੰਟੈਲੀਜੈਂਸ ਦਾ ਉਦਾਹਰਨ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਾਰ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਖ ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਮੋਟਰਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਸਰੀ ਦਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਟਰੱਕ ਸੈਂਟਰ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲੋੜ ਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜੀਂਦੇ ਟਰੱਕਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗਾਈਡੈਂਸ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸਪੇਸ ਮੋਡੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਫਿਊਲ ਐਫੀਸ਼ੀਐਂਸੀ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਧਿਆਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਟ ਟਰੱਕ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਟਰੱਕਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਟੌਰ।
ਵੈਨਕਾਸਾ ਟਾਈਲ ਅਤੇ ਸਟੋਨ ਸ਼ੋਰੂਮ ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਥਾਂ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੋਲਸੇਲ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਹਰ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀਆਂ ਟਾਈਲਸ, ਸਟੋਨ, ਮਾਰਬਲ, ਬੈਕਸਪਲੈਸ਼, ਮੋਜ਼ੇਕ ਆਦਿ ਵਾਜਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਟਾਲੀਅਨ, ਸਪੈਨਿਸ਼, ਚਾਈਨੀਜ਼ ਪੋਰਸਲਨ ਜਾਂ ਸਿਰੈਮਿਕ ਟਾਈਲਸ ਜਾਂ ਮਾਰਬਲ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਆਰਡਰ ਤੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਲੀਅਰੈਂਸ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਮਾਲਕ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਟਾਈਲਸ ਇੰਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ, ਜਿਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਸਮਾਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਿੰਗਾਰ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰੋ 13042 84 ਐਵਨਿਊ ਸਰੀ। ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹਿੰਦੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 604 330 7363 604 330 7363।